Hey there, Board Game Brody here with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table. This time it's Let's Go to Japan by AEG. Haven't you always wanted to visit Japan? You and all other players are travelers competing to plan and experience the most personally fulfilling dream vacation in Tokyo and Kyoto. The game is 13 rounds long where players draw activity cards and strategically place them in different days of the week in their itinerary. This is followed by the final round where players ultimately go on their planned trip, activating each of their cards in order along the way. And then the player who collects the most points at the end of the game or at the end of the trip will win the game. So players have their own player board, with each player having their favorable condition tokens on the same days as everyone else. You'll be drawing and placing cards in columns matching the day that you want to perform that activity shown on the card. When drawing cards, you will follow the track where the first 4 turns you will be drawing 1 Tokyo card and 1 Kyoto card. This middle section shows you will draw the 4 cards that the other players have passed to you in those first 4 turns. You will then pass clockwise until you get here, showing the circle arrow thing. Then you will pass counterclockwise thereafter. Then these turns, you will draw 2 Kyoto cards and 2 Tokyo cards, placing 2 and passing 2 during the entire section. And then the last section here in green is play 1 card, pass 1 card, with a mix of picking up pass cards or drawing new cards. The last turn is pick up 1 card and choose 1 card from either deck. I like how this is designed. You will go through cards, but also make decisions of giving other players, your neighbors, different other cards. The chart is easy to follow. The flow is done well, and it increases with placing and passing more cards as the game goes along. But then when things get tricky, it goes back to that 1 card, and I felt like this was pretty good design for the game. Playing your cards is the strategic part of this game, and it will take the most time. The card that you play will move your experience token up of that type or move your mood tracker on the mood track if it chose that. The tokens actually don't move, though, until the player goes on their trip on the final round, but you can plan accordingly. The bottom of the card show potential bonus points that can be earned if that card occupies the highlight of the day position, which is at the bottom on top of each of those columns, and if it meets the requirements as well. Note that you also can only have a maximum of 3 cards in each column, with the walk cards being an exception. When you play a card, you will try to maximize points by placing it potentially in a column with matching favorable condition tokens that are matching on your player board. This will help gain day bonuses that will be able to help you be more flexible in the game. This includes moving up on your mood, gaining researcher or wild tokens, or gaining those luxury train tokens to use or to go on an extra walk. Also remember when placing cards that you should try to match Tokyo cards with other Tokyo cards and Kyoto cards with others. Trains will need to be used whenever you change locations between the two. This can be, your luxury trains. If you don't have any, then it's going to be the -2 point normal trains. The more that you group cards together, the less trains that you will need. The last thing to remember is when placing cards is you'll want to consider using the card for its bonus points on the bottom of that card to be placed in the highlight of the day spot to gain its bonuses. This is only 1 card for each day, and it's the card on top, so not every card will do this. Also know that when placing cards, you can place them on the bottom, in the middle, or on top, but once played, the cards cannot be moved. If you do not like your card, you can decide to go on a walk instead, and you will discard that card and take a face down card from any deck that you would like and place it face down in your itinerary. Then you'll earn a research token. Now, when you do your trip in the last round, when you get to that card, you will flip it over and decide if you want to keep it face up or keep it back face down. Points will be shown, according to if you fulfilled those requirements or not. The card placement in this game is very nerve-wracking. There are so many different things to think about. Does it match the icons in that day to help gain the day bonuses, or does it let you stay in the same location so you don't have to waste a train? Or maybe I can switch because I am using this train here at some point anyways, and I can be a little more flexible. If you already plan the next day, then you kind of already know if you're staying or leaving. And then trying to place a good bonus that's listed on the bottom of those cards and trying to place those so you can trigger them as well, that's going to cross your mind as well. So many different things to think about and choose. You possibly will start with a card, and as you add more cards, decide which one you want to keep on the top for its bonus. But the bonus also includes everything you have done up to that point in the last round, which I will go over soon. But planning. I mean, really the game is about planning a trip. So the focus is planning your cards very carefully. So when finishing up the round tracker, then players will need to place their train tokens for traveling between the two locations, Tokyo and Kyoto. And if a player doesn't have any train tokens left, then they will have a negative 2-point train token that they'll have to use. The final round then occurs by activating cards in your itinerary in order from Monday to Saturday, starting with the card below and going down, activating each card. And you will move your experience tokens along the track to keep track of your totals for each of those activities. You also will activate the bonus on your highlight of the day bonus if you complete it. Players repeat this for the remaining days in order going down. Hopefully you planned well to trigger a lot of those bonuses, but also you have the mood tracker here that will be triggered when activating your cards. You plan this trip so something that costs a lot of money or causes increased stress will lower your mood tracker. And if you do that enough, you will, get to the end of this track and score negative points. But also, if you planned inexpensive activities or peaceful and relaxing things, then you will go up on that track. And if you get to the top, you will gain positive points and then reset the marker back. The mood tracker is just, another thing to plan for because you can use activities that will lower it, or maybe some highlight of the day cards will want you to, be low or high, but you might want to plan, with the green increasing your mood cards prior to then hitting the bottom, and then you can, recover by pushing it back up. Or you want to plan your green to increase your mood cards to get you to the top to trigger extra points. That's good too. Now, you will, of course, want to go through your own itinerary with all the other players, watching each one at a time, because it's just fun to see what other players have done and where they're going, what they're doing. But as players go through, you will, write down scores for each day as they go through them to keep track of their final points. So really, you will score points from going over those days and gaining points for each card, plus the top card maybe activating its bonus. Your total from the stress and the happiness tracks, that'll give you points. Points for how far you go up on the experience track for each marker, plus your trains, which might be negative, and leftover research tokens will get you 1 extra point as well. Now, the player with the most points, then they will win the game. And well, that's really the idea of Let's Go to Japan by AEG. I've given some of my thoughts throughout, but really the game is a planned drafting game. It is somewhat quick-paced as you will be drawing cards and playing cards all at the same time, but the game isn't as simple as that. There are so many overlapping layers that you need to think about while playing the game. Sometimes it just feels, too much to do. This sometimes is not, knowing where to place a card or that you want, or other times not knowing which card to pick and which one to pass. And other times it's, not knowing what bonuses you want to choose. The cards are random, so it can be challenging to plan, especially since you will keep to the day icons for each day, with the shrine visiting kept on that day and then the social activities all on that social day. So you don't really, split up what's already there, and besides choosing which one you might want to place on top. And what color card for its location. Maybe there should be, 2 day icons for each day to shake things up a little bit more. But overall, this is an above average game with meaningful decisions on each turn. Planning is huge. Replayability is up there. And there are so many layers connecting in this game, and you will need to get your calendar out to keep track of what's really going on. Again, this is Brody with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table. Like Let's Go to Japan by AEG. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We are working hard to bring to you videos like this one so you know if these games are ones that you want to get to your own table.